Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 158 of Screw the Commute podcast. We got Jack Turk here, and scuttlebutt has it that he once stole Bill Gates' thunder on stage. And hopefully he'll tell us a little bit about what happened there. And he's got quite a colorful work and entrepreneurial history, and he calls himself the world's fastest copywriter. And you all know what I think about copywriting, so I can't wait to hear what he has to say about that. All right, so we'll bring him on in a few minutes. So episode 157, hope you didn't miss that. That's the value of team meetings. And that was one of my Monday training sessions. And of course, on Mondays, I do in-depth training on something that's either made me or saved me lots of money. And on Wednesdays and Fridays, I do interviews with other successful entrepreneurs like Jack. Now, I've got a big freebie for you to thank you for listening to this podcast. It's my $27 ebook, How to Automate Your Business. And just one of the tips in this ebook has saved me over 7.5 million keystrokes and allowed me to handle up to 150,000 subscribers and 40,000 customers with just one part-time temp person. And in fact, when I started hiring people, when the accountant told me I had too much retained earnings, and I'm thinking, oh man, so my taxes are going to go buy bombs. So I said, heck with that, I'm going to hire people. So anyway, that book is going to tell you how I did that. And you can catch that at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. And I also have another super duper surprise gift for you over there. Screwthecommute.com/automate free. And anything I mention, of course, will be in the show notes. This is episode 158. And anytime you want to go directly to an episode, you can put screwthecommute.com and then / the episode number. All right, our podcast app's in the iTunes store. You can also go to screwthecommute.com/app, where we have complete instructions to show you how to use all the fancy features so you can take us with you on the road, put it on your cell phone, tablet, have us in the car with you. That's if you're stuck commuting, which we want to get you out of that. So hopefully this will help you get out of that commute. And please tell your friends about the podcast. You're bound to know somebody that's either wants to start a business or is in one and struggling. And this is the place to be. I've got a long, long history of successful business operations, and the people I bring on also do. So this will really help out your friend. All right. Now, the internet marketing training world got turned on its head about the year 2000. I mean, people like me were charging $50,000 to $100,000 up front to teach what we knew to, basically clueless business people who refused to learn it or were just overwhelmed. But I just thought, that's too much money to charge people up front. It'll put them in a risky situation. So I turned the world upside down, made all the gurus mad when I started charging a low entry fee, but took a percentage of profits that was capped so they weren't stuck with me forever. People loved it, and 1,700 students later, it's still going strong. It's one of the longest, it has to be the longest, most successful internet marketing mentor program ever, and of course the most unique because you do the immersion weekend where you live in the house with me. So it's really crazy and great, and it's helped a lot of people. So check that out at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. All right, let's get to the main event. Jack Turk is here. He has decades of experience writing for corporations like Microsoft and Kodak, as well as a number of small businesses, including dentists, attorneys, even magicians. His copy has generated millions of dollars in sales, and he's now known as the world's fastest copywriter. Jack, are you ready to screw the commute?
Hallelujah.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome today, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm just peachy. It's in this bake oven out here in Virginia Beach. It's going to be 96 today, but in my chair here, it's always 72. So I'm perfectly happy. So, I just met you last week, basically. I don't know. You said you've heard of me, or how did we come to cross paths?
Oh, good Lord. I've been following you for a long, long time. I think you used to be like real big on public speaking and
still
training people. Yeah. So again, I have been a magician and a speaker, and learning the craft and how to market the craft and learning how to market yourself as a speaker and getting out in public. So I've been following you and all your tips and about that for a long, long time.
Well, what took you so long to call me up, man?
I'm slow.
You're busy.
Sometimes.
You're busy selling stuff like crazy. So tell everybody what you're doing now, and then we'll take them back to the kind of past that is, I don't know if it really weighs up with entrepreneurial stuff. You're in the corporate world, but tell them what you're doing now.
These days, I am a freelance copywriter / marketing consultant. I do stake the claim that I am the world's fastest copywriter, and I'm pretty confident in that ability, that I can crank out really good, really effective sales copy for websites, for sales letters, for emails, landing pages, the whole 9 yards for internet marketing, of course, faster than just about anybody else on the planet. And
we should have a contest. We should have a worldwide contest. You should lead it. And we'll bring all the copywriters in, and we'll get big prizes and sponsors, and then we'll sell the copy that you wrote.
Bring it on!
Yeah,
I'll sing a bunch of people. Hopefully, let's not video this, because I think it's pretty darn lame to see everybody at a typewriter.
All right, so let's take you back a little bit to this path, because I saw a little bit about you online. I was researching you, and
nice.
Yeah, So tell them about the incident on stage with Bill Gates.
All right. Well, in '89, I joined Microsoft. I was in the multimedia Windows division. I was head of the content group there. And in 1991, I believe, they launched the multimedia PC. We take all this stuff for granted now, but back then, having a PC with an audio board, able to play animations and video with the CD-ROM, with enough memory and a processing power to handle it, with the video display with lots of colors, wasn't a thing.
No kidding. Now, was there a DOS division?
There was.
I mean,
no, there wasn't a DOS.
The young
division.
people living here like, what? What is he talking about?
If they've seen the blue screen of death, they have seen DOS. So I was working on the content then, and they had the big launch event for the multimedia PC, and that was happened in New York City at I forget which museum, one of the big museums there. And I was on stage. I built the demo for Bill that he ran to launch the multimedia PC at a big press announcement, big deal, big event. And I'm on stage with Bill running the demo that I built. And why he's talking, I wind up actually clicking the demo and making it make noise and overwrote him, basically kind of stepped on his line, and he gave me a look that could kill. I knew my place.
I wish you wouldn't have done that, because then we could call him up and ask him for $1 million here, $1 million there if we needed it, but
I know. I destroyed my relationship with him. Long time. Haven't been hanging out with him much lately either.
All right, so take us back all the way to the beginning. Were you an entrepreneurial kid, or were you groomed for the corporate world? How did this all evolve?
That's interesting. I tried to think about that. I guess I was maybe a little bit entrepreneurial. I mean, I tried selling grit for a while as a kid.
Right, that's a newspaper, right?
Yeah, right. That was a newspaper from way back when, very Midwestern, very Norman Rockwell kind of thing, that sort of thing. I did that for a little bit. I kind of played around it. I always did magic. And this is something that I've always been a magician since as long as I can remember, since I was 5 years old.
Wow.
I learned how to do magic, and I always was doing little bitty shows here and there and that kind of stuff. And I had did some side shows here and there. But pretty much, I followed the standard route. I go to college, get a degree. I wound up getting a job in the computer industry as a tech writer. And because I majored in English, I minored in mathematics, which is kind of an odd combination.
I don't see that every day. Yeah.
No, that was an odd combination. And well, the reason I got into writing was because I was going to be a paper science major, and I found that paper science was pretty darn boring. And I got involved with a comedy group for the radio station at the university, and so I did radio comedy for a couple of years. It's like kind of like a Saturday Night Live,
Mm-hmm.
fireside theater type thing. One of the guys in our group actually did very well, Tim Allen.
Wow. Yeah, I heard you talking about him. That's crazy.
Yeah, Tim Allen got his start with the same group I did, and I've known Tim since the 70s, and he's I still get to see him once in a while, and he's a great guy.
Well, you should get to do a cameo on his show. Come on.
I've never really pushed that.
Ask him. What the heck? They probably have some extras in once in a while.
Yeah, I bet he's got a little pull too. He might be able to he might be able to swing that. I might try that. Yeah. So anyway, I got involved in doing computing, computer industry, doing software documentation, writing manuals and stuff. And I bounced around the country. I worked, started off in Michigan, and I went to a company down in San Antonio, Texas, for the U.S. Army. Worked on a project there for a few years. Bounced back to Indiana for a year, got laid off, bounced to a company in Boston, worked there for a couple of years. Then in '89, wound up at Microsoft.
Wait a minute, you like 90 years old or what? I mean, that's like a lot of bouncing, man. I mean,
I wore out my wife and my kids. They're all, dragged them everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, but I always kind of had that. I want to do something on my own.
So you were doing magic continuously this whole time because you just love it, right?
I just love it. I was always doing magic on the side, and I really got going with the magic on the side around 2000. I mean, I always had gigs. I mean, I had worked through agents and stuff.
Wait a minute. And every time we say the year 2000, we have to say instead the turn of the century.
Oh, the turn.
It makes it sound like longer. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We cranked the new millennium.
Oh, speaking of that, while we're at it, were you all with the Y2K stuff?
Oh, good Lord. That was nuts.
I know. I sat here thinking, I'm sure the world's going to come to an end today. I'm waiting for it right now. I won't have to pay my credit card bill.
I was deep in the belly of the beast at Microsoft at that point in time. And we were just going, this is nuts. These people are out of their minds. So anyway, I got really involved in doing magic on the side around the year 2000 or so, because I was really into the marketing. I finally learned about marketing around then, and I got good at marketing myself. And so I guess this definitely relates to the audience in terms of it was a side hustle.
Yeah, but you got really good at doing it for yourself, which led to the next thing you're going to tell us about, the product that you created, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got really good at marketing. I got very good at marketing. I was doing, my weekends were full up, just totally full. And
magic shows, right?
Yeah, with magic shows. And I started going, hey, I'm kind of enjoying this a lot more than the same old corporate stuff I'm doing every day. And, my drive when I moved about 25 miles north of Redmond, the main campus. Mm-hmm. I'm out in the country and everything else. And initially that drive took about 35 minutes. Well, after about 10 years, that drive turned into like 75 to 90-minute drive.
You should have started a podcast. Screw the commute. I beat you to it.
Boy, can I relate to that term. that concept. Yeah, it's ugly. It's an ugly drive now.
So you got sick of that. Then what happened?
Got sick of that, got really good. I started just getting more and more gigs. And I also, I learned how to do the marketing from a guy named Dave D. I'll give Dave credit, great guy. He taught me marketing.
Dave who?
Dave D.
Oh, no, I don't know him.
Okay. Anyway, he's like a Dan Kennedy aficionado, that kind of, not one of the mini Dans. And he taught me all kinds of marketing, and he had a business. He had an info business to teach magicians how to market. So in 2006, I made the decision on my 50th birthday. I walked into my boss's office, and he was actually starting getting ready to put stuff up on my walls, like "Happy birthday, Jack!" Da da da. And I said, "I'm sorry, Alan. I'm quitting to become a magician."
And he laughed, right?
He looked at me like you're out of your mind. And they all looked at me like I was out of my mind. But I did. I left to be a magician, and I also bought the info business to Dave's from Dave to magicians.
Mm-hmm.
So I had two things going. I had two side hustles that I had two side hustles that I turned into one. One is doing magic shows and marketing myself as a magician. The other is helping magicians run their businesses.
Right. Because I mean, you were so good at it. That's the best way to do stuff. You're so credible at it because you did it yourself. You're not just telling somebody that you read in a book on how to do something and trying to teach it. You actually did it. Hey, were you doing more than one job in a day?
Oh, like the shows?
Yeah.
Oh, some days I had like 5 or 6 shows.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's like a couple $1,000s a day, right?
Yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah.
It was a good day. It's brutal.
Right. Yeah, I'm saying you got to reset everything, and when I actually had an entertainment company for 6 years. I was like a professional comedian, but when you had multiple shows, I would say, did I do that one already? This set, or did I do that at the last job? I'm like fighting in my mind. I don't want to do the same thing over again.
Oh yeah, I bet you had it down. I had the act down. I did most of them. I'll be honest, most stuff I did was kid shows because that's where the money.
Yeah,
is. I mean,
exactly.
That's the business. That's the business. And I marketed myself basically like a plumber. I always figured that all my advertising, everything else. I had Google AdWords, everything else is set. Like I thinking like how do people are not thinking about hiring a birthday party magician. Like you're never thinking about a plumber until the toilet explodes.
Right.
And then you need, so my entire marketing funnel is based on that concept. Nobody's ever thinking about a birthday party magician until it's like 10 days to go and they're going to have 35 5-year-olds in their house. And oh my God, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So that's what I had. The whole marketing funnel was based on that. So I was doing, so my act.
So what kind of keywords would you use for that?
Well, that's if you want to get into in depth. I actually ran multiple AdWord campaigns with multiple funnels, depending on the keywords I used. I had a whole different funnel based on whether you typed in birthday party entertainment versus magician versus kid entertainment.
Those will all be separate ad groups, right?
They were all separate ad groups. They all led to separate web pages.
Did you find anyone that really stood out as the best bread and butter?
Oh, birthday party. It was children's birthday party.
Children's birthday party was the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Those words. That was the key.
Now, did you use geographic qualifiers like cause how far would you go for one of these parties?
Probably 60 miles, 60, 70 miles.
So did you qualify it with like the different towns around you or what?
Yeah, I did. I basically did a very stock, circle essentially, radius around my,
Right.
I'm and I'm a little bit north of kind of on the north end of Seattle.
Right.
So there's not that much business north of me. So I actually centered it basically at, honestly at Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, that was my target market. My target market was basically a working mom, 35 to 45, feels kind of guilty about being away all day.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, that's your avatar for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought all that stuff through.
All right. So you're going great guns doing tons of parties, then what? Those are usually on the weekends, aren't they?
Yeah, most of the magic shows are on the weekends. I did some midweek, but mostly it was, so the weekends were like I had a lot of weekends where I had like 6, 7, 8 shows.
So now when you went in there on your 50th birthday, did you have some type of severance or pension coming, or did you just say, this is it, I'm out of here?
I did it exactly the wrong way. I had nothing. We can get a long discussion of all the stupid things I did.
Well, we're glad that you didn't actually break a few fingers and then you couldn't do your magic.
Nope, I didn't. But I did have, what I did have was proof over a couple years that I could market myself.
Right.
That I could perform the service.
These were side hustles that were bringing in money already.
Right.
Okay.
This was not stuff that it wasn't conjecture.
Were you married at the time?
Oh yeah.
What did your wife have to say about this?
She was very supportive. She's always been very supportive. She was a little scared, and I'll admit it had some ups and downs. We definitely had some ups
Yeah.
and downs with this, but she's always been very
Great.
supportive
Great.
of this.
Okay. So how did it evolve from, killing yourself doing lots of parties to where you are now?
Well, that got interesting because I just got really good at marketing myself, and I had people just I actually had one guy um, saw my kids show website, and he contacted me and said, "Hey, your copywriting's pretty good. Did you write that copy? Yeah, that's pretty good. Why don't you could you do something for me?" And so it was like he was a financial advisor, and he somehow I don't know how he found me. I
Really?
really don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I wrote some stuff for him, and then that just started snowballing. I started getting more people saying, "Hey, could you write my stuff? Could you write my stuff?" And I started doing more and more. And I also kind of did stuff like project management because I was a project manager at Microsoft. Also, I had a multiple careers there. Bounced around a lot of things and did a lot of project management. And so I helped people with project management and copy. And I kind of wound up being like to a couple people their right hand man to like info gurus.
Right.
I wound up doing that for like several people. And then Dave, I'll also give credit to Dave again. Dave wound up getting a job at GKIC. I was helping Dave on a lot of things. He got a job as vice president of marketing at GKIC, and he said we got to hire Jack as our copywriter. And I did. It's the classic leapfrog, to be honest. I did the classic leapfrog. I jumped from like nowhere to a pretty good job at GKIC as the head copywriter, and I was there from 2012 to 2015. If you don't know, GKIC was Dan Kennedy, the company Dan
Yeah.
Kennedy founded. Now it's No BS Inner Circle, and I still do a lot of work with them. I still have written lots of stuff for them, but I was the head copy. I ran the copy team, and we jammed and produced tons and tons and tons and tons of copy
I'm
website.
still kind of stuck on the first financial guy that got you to do copy, as if you'd written magic copy for his financials.
I was out of the blue.
I
gotta
guess
say,
you
that was pretty
adapted pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, those that have listened to me for a long time know that copy to me is the number one business skill in my entire 42 years in business. Even since I was 10 years old, writing flyers, entrepreneurial flyers, it's just so critical. You need copy for everything. And if you get good at it, it starts invading all your other writings to move people to action all the time. But nobody that I know is fast. I've taught a lot of people, and I do it myself, but I can't say I was fast at it.
Oh, well, I do claim I'm fast.
Yes,
I'm
I know.
very
That's
fa- I'm no doubt about it. I mean, part of it is, there's a lot of things to that. I mean, I think this is it's a mindset. We have this notion in our heads that to do anything that's really good in terms of writing, you have to labor over it for a long time,
right.
and you tweak it. You have to go back and forth,
You have to sit
and
there and look at a blank screen and twiddle your thumbs and check
yeah,
Facebook.
all that stuff, And in reality, I think the most powerful copy comes directly from your heart, where you are passionate about sharing a solution that can really change someone's life. And you really believe in this solution, and you want to get that message out there and across. And there's nothing going to stop you from doing so.
Well, that's a big
And
jump for somebody that's writing for somebody else, though, isn't it? Because you couldn't possibly have passion for everything that other people are doing, right?
I've been very fortunate in that the clients I have taken on and I've worked with several, I've had several I've had for like years and years. I truly believe in what they're trying to
Okay,
do.
yeah. So that makes you a better copywriter for them, for sure. But if it was
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'd be competent if it was something that was just blah you didn't care about, but it wouldn't be the same.
Oh, no, I acknowledge that. Again, like I said, I've been fortunate that I've been able to have access to clients who I think what they're doing is very important and matters, and I care about it. And it's easy to care about their avatar, their customer, that hey, they're really going to change their lives. They're really going to make a difference in their lives. And I want to help them do that. I want to help them see that transformation in their lives. So that's a blessing on my end to be able to have those kind of projects.
Yeah, for sure. So give people a couple tips on, not everybody would be in a position to hire you, or I don't even know if you're doing it anymore. And also, are you doing the shows still, the kids shows?
I do a couple magic shows here and there. Primarily, it's been old clients that I've had. I actually did one a couple months ago where a client, I had done like two of their daughters, and they had like a baby like afterwards, and the kid grew up and like 8 years old, and said, "Hey, we haven't talked to you in like been darn near a decade. Could you come up? Can you ever do a show for us?" And I did that. That was fun. I still do shows now and then. But it's not like
Right.
that thing. I'm always going to do it. It's like I love magic.
So you're
I'm gonna-
doing mostly copywriting and helping people market then, huh?
That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
So give me a couple tips on if they aren't in a position to hire you, what they should, what you feel as the emphasis they need to put on copy and what they could do to really get started.
I think one of the biggest things you can do to write copy that is effective is to focus on your offer. I really believe that the offer is, one of the biggest elements of a successful sales piece. I think too many, and I've worked with clients and I've kind of pushed back on them. I think too many people tend to go, okay, I'm going to create an offer that's really good for me. And this is a price point I like. This is the feature set I like. These are the bonuses, etc. Without thinking through, is this really a slam dunk for the customer? Because I think you have to think strategically about your offers. This is something my dad taught me. My dad was a car salesman, and in a small town in Michigan, like 2,000 people, for 10 years, he sold 300 to 500 cars a year.
Wow.
He did this consistently. He always said, you just give them the very best deal you can, and they'll come back.
Right.
And I think that's what the key is to a great offer. That I think a really great offer, you should probably cringe a little bit when you make it.
Right.
Because it should be that close to like, oh, I don't know if I can get away with doing this. Because you want to think through, you want to think about, you are building a relationship with a person over years is what you want. And so maybe take a little hit off the front end and you'll make it way over on the back end.
Yeah.
So,
Too many people, especially, I have to rag on some of the young people. They just want the most money right off the bat with the least amount of work, least amount of service. And they're shooting themselves in the foot for the long run.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to think strategically about this. You have to. And I think that when you actually create an offer that is just literally irresistible, I mean, and you've done everything you can to make sure it's so good, you'd be a fool not to take this.
I think there's
Then
a
that
book
makes
called that, isn't it? Is that the Mark Joyner book or something? The Irresistible Offer?
Yeah, it's just that makes writing copy so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really does. I mean, honestly, because your copy doesn't have to be that good. To be honest, if the offer kills,
Right.
you can get away with like not having that great a copy.
That's a gem out there, folks, for you, because all of those that I try to help and encourage, and they're struggling and they're agonizing over it. If the offer was super great, like I said, it wouldn't be as all the other stuff wouldn't be as critical.
No, it makes it easy. It makes it a lot easier. And the other tip that I think it's also great for helping you write faster is just say it. just don't try to sound like anybody else except you.
Yeah, right. Well, I always say write like I talk. I even do that in books. I just write like I talk.
Absolutely. You know how to speak, don't you? You know how to talk to somebody. You know how to like lay out what you have to offer them and show that you care. Just you're sitting across from one-on-one, man. I mean, that's what it really is. That's what copy really is. You're just sitting across from someone one-on-one. Yeah, hey, I got this thing. I know you got a problem. This thing's going to really help you with that. It's going to make a huge difference in your life. You really should, take advantage of this now while you can.
And I think that's another problem that people suffer with that are new to that is they They want to write to a whole enormous crowd of people rather than what you just said, write to one person.
It's one-on-one.
And then if you have a different market, write a different sales letter, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Just because
Absolutely.
you have a product doesn't mean you have one sales letter for it.
Oh, no, absolutely not. You want to make sure you're speaking, because you're speaking one-on-one, and that person across from you, if you change that person, they're going to have different fears. They're going to have different troubles going on in their lives. They're going to have other things, they may have different words that they use even.
Exactly.
They may.
Yeah, I always use an example of, like, if you had a face cream that was for women and it was great for any woman. Well, you wouldn't write the same sales letter to a girl going to the prom with acne as you would to a 50-year-old divorcee that's trying to get back in the dating market. The whole thing would be different on emphasis.
Oh, absolutely. And even if the group's exactly the same.
Exactly, right. It's the same stuff. It's just you can't sell it to everybody. You have to sell it to that avatar or that person. So, hey, those are awesome tips. Now, anything, with all these birthday parties, all the stuff you've been through, anything crazy, bizarre happen that you can tell us about?
I actually had lots of crazy things. One, probably the most embarrassing. I'll give you the most embarrassing one. So I always finished off my act. It's a kind of a dorky little thing where I tie two handkerchiefs together, and I kind of stick them inside the front of my pants and at the belt there. And at the end, I pull it out, and then there's like
underwear comes out. Right?
There's underwear.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Right. So it's kind of a jokey trick. I kind of twisted. A lot of guys will do that on somebody else. I did it on myself because I thought that's a classier way to do a goofy act, So that fit my character as a magician. So I always have like the birthday kid, like they're waving the wand over the bag to make the hanky disappear. That's supposed to reappear between these two scarves. So I got the kid beside me, and he's like waving, and he's like right on my left, and I rip out these two scarves, and I cold cock the kid right between the eyes with my left hand. I just cold cock him, and he just stands there. He looks at me and like for a second stunned, and then he breaks out into a huge wail. He starts wailing, and I'm mortified.
Did the parents see this or just hear it?
Oh God, yes. Oh. They were so cool. They were just so cool. They were like, he's okay. He's a whiner anyway. Don't worry about it.
That could have gone very bad.
I'm waiting for the next month. I'm waiting for
the lawsuit, right?
The letter from the attorney,
right? Well, I was actually there once myself, where I was like a couple weeks that I didn't know if I was going to have a career or had to go out and hide out in Mexico. I used to do this thing where I'd have make the audience the stars. So I'd do a room blackout, and I had these glow stars, like a glow stick where you break it and it lights up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had them in the shape of stars. And the crowd was so big that volunteers were throwing them into the crowd, and one of them bounced off somebody's hand and ripped another guy's cornea in his eye. And I was like, I'm moving to Mexico. I'm out of here. I mean, it was 2 weeks of like, oh my God, I'm really in trouble. It didn't, he turned out to be okay, but oh my God, things can go bad fast. Hey, so what do you like working, or what do you like best about working for yourself, and what's the worst part?
What I like best about is the sense that I have control over my career, that I'm not looking to other people to be my advocate, to stand up for me, to upper management or any of that, that I actually, it's now on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on me. I mean, so that's a good side, so it's all on me to do the self-promotion, all on me to acquire the skills and continue to keep my skill set up to date. It's all on me to work on getting clients and serving them and doing the best job I can for them and helping them get the results they want. It's all on me. I like that. I'm just that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Me too.
The downside of that is that it's all on you.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah.
And sometimes, admittedly, sometimes it's not comfortable to do stuff that, you have to do to make your business succeed. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll give Dan Kennedy. This is a line from Dan Kennedy about success, and I think I model my entire business on these three. It's like a little 3-step thing. If you want to succeed, there are 3 things: be somebody, be somewhere, do something.
Okay. Yep. I'll go along with that.
Those 3 things are essentially the keys to my entire business. Be somebody. I got to be somebody. I got to show up someplace. So I get a lot. I'll be honest, Tom, most of my business, in fact, probably 99% of my business comes because I showed up someplace.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I got out of my comfort zone. I went to events. I went to conferences. I started talking to people. I met people. I networked, etc. And do something. Those 3 things, very simple. They're kind of like bland and generic, but boy, they are powerful.
Well, I mean, I don't hate to remind you, but you didn't call me, but that's all right.
That's true. I did.
Yeah, I'm almost too old to talk to you.
I waited. I did. I waited too long, but I finally did.
All right. So tell people how they get a hold of you, how they work with you, what you have products, or what if they want to. They don't want to go for your record as the fastest, but they want to improve, or what do you got for people?
I do a daily email. It's pretty close to daily on writing killer copy fast. If you go to my website, which is www.writekillercopyfast.com, there's a link there to sign up and get the daily emails.
Yeah, we'll have that in the show notes for everybody. Writekillercopyfast.com.
Writekillercopyfast.com. Actually, there's a thing in the menu for getting my headline toolkit, and that'll get you on my list. Nice. Besides, it's a very useful toolkit too.
Nice.
How to write headlines, and to get those done really quickly. So that gets you on my email list, and I send like I promise it's daily, but it really isn't. It's like I 3 or 4 or 5 a week, whatever. But I continually do tips, and that site also has blog. It's a blog. It's got lists. It's got some of the emails I sent, so you get a sample of that. If you want to contact me, it's just jack@writekillercopyfast.com.
Perfect. We'll have all that in the show notes. And hey, folks, anything you can do to help yourself with headlines, do it. Because I took a $4,500 course just on headlines from Ted Nicholas years ago, and that's one of the hardest things to do. And then you got to learn testing and all the other stuff too. So check all that out at his site, and we'll have that in the show notes. So we got to take just a brief sponsor message. Then we're going to come back and ask Jack what a typical day looks like for him and how he stays motivated. All right, folks, if you want someone to hold your hand through all kinds of online stuff, that's exactly what my program was designed for. It's the longest running, most successful, and most unique mentor program in the field of internet marketing. It's been running for over 20 years, 1,700 students, and you have an immersion trip to the Great Internet Marketing Retreat Center, where I'm recording from right now. And one thing I didn't tell you earlier is you get a scholarship to the only licensed, dedicated internet marketing school in the country, imtcva.org, here in Virginia Beach. But it's distance learning, so you can be anywhere in the world and still take the classes. So you get that scholarship, which is worth $19,100 as part of the mentor program, and you can use it yourself or gift it to somebody else. So like I said, I don't think anybody can match the things you get from my program. So check it out at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com. You can follow up with me if you have any questions. All right, let's get back to the main event. The world's fastest copywriter, Jack Turk, is here with us. And so, Jack, what's a typical day look like for you? Like, when do you get up? Do you eat? Do you work out? Do you start working? What's it like?
I should have more rigor in terms of my schedule. I'll be honest. I keep seeing that this is what billionaires do. They have a very regimented early morning program. I typically get up between 5:30 and 6:30.
Well, that's pretty early.
Yeah. I just wake up, I get up and I'll kind of sit around. I'll check my email. I'll be honest. I'll read the Bible every day.
Good.
I try to do that. Then I try to get about 8 o'clock, between 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever. I roll over to the laptop and get started on that.
You roll
One,
over so you don't get out of bed. You just-
well, I do get out of bed.
Okay, but that's perfect, man. You never even have to get out of bed anymore.
Yeah, no, I gotta get my butt off. I gotta get your butt up. I'm sorry, that's important. And I get started on thinking. One of the things I try to do first thing though every day is like lay out what I want to get done that day.
Okay.
I really try to be very specific, and each day I have specific goals as to what I want to accomplish.
This
in
is
terms
all
of
working out of your
projects.
home, right?
Right?
Okay.
All out of my home.
Kids
And
around or anybody around at that time?
No, my wife's around, but she's off doing her things,
Okay.
and all the kids are out of the house pretty much.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I just kind of focus on what key things I have to get done that day. And some days, and this is advice I've heard from I don't know, a guy named Ben Settle, who I think is really great. He's an email guy, but he says work on your own stuff first, and I think that's a really good tip.
Mm-hmm.
That I try to work on my own education. Either there's a book I'm going through, or there's some training I'm going through, whatever. I try to do that first thing, or I work on my daily email. I try to get that stuff out of the way before I do client stuff.
Okay.
I don't always do that, but I try to make sure I'm doing my stuff to keep my business moving forward first before I work on client stuff. And then I just work pretty much throughout the day. I try to get stuff done in blocks. Like I'll give myself like 2 hours to go through, like finish, like write the emails. I got to write emails for clients, so I'll go give myself a couple hours to write those emails. Then I'll go out and I'll switch task, go on to another project. One thing I tend to do, I think, is a really good idea, is when I'm switching from project to project to project, I get up and I go do something totally different. Like I often go for a walk.
Yeah, like break the chain on this other project, and then so you can start fresh on the new one, right?
Exactly. And I think getting outside is great. I live out in the country, and I have it's like a little subdivision out in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and I have it's essentially a mile walk to the end of the cul-de-sac and back.
Wow.
And it's a perfect 15, 20-minute break.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to think about stuff. And I think for me, walking is great for ideas. I get all kinds of ideas while I'm walking.
Mm-hmm.
And away from the desk.
You
away from
capture
the
them with like an audio recorder or anything?
If I was really efficient, I would. But it's just
because I can have the same great ideas, but by the time I get home, I forgot them all.
The memory's still pretty good on me. I mean, so far, the processor's still doing okay.
All right.
I'm not sure the bandwidth coming in isn't so good, but so that's it. I'll typically work depending on how crunched I am. Sometimes I'll work late. I mean, I'll work long days occasionally. Sometimes I don't, and sometimes I just knock off around 5-ish or 6-ish and I'm done. And I don't always work weekends. Sometimes I work a weekend a little bit. Sometimes right now that we had a lot of home improvement projects, and I'm learning how to do molding and.
Oh, you had to get in
a
a thing there for Tim Allen, didn't you?
Yeah. A minor thing. Yes.
Yeah, did he pay you for that? Is this a sponsored visit you're doing here?
I'll send him a note.
Well, how do you stay motivated when you're by yourself? Do you have staff at all?
No
staff.
It's just me.
So it's just you. So how do you stay motivated?
I really like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really enjoy it. I mean, I don't have. I just enjoy my clients. All the clients I work with, I like working with them. They're fun. I like writing. I love writing. It's just I like communicating. In turn, it's staying. I'll admit sometimes some mornings are a little slower than others get going, but I mean, I have made the decision. This is my thing.
I totally get it. I mean, there's some old saying about, you do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, something like that. And that's the way I feel. I mean, I could go 7 days a week forever and not even blink an eye, not even think twice about it. It's just I'm doing cool stuff, that I love, helping other people, helping myself. People say, "Well, what, are you going to retire?" And I'm like, "From what? What are you talking about?"
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. All I would be doing was going back to check, my, orders coming in anyway, if I was retired. So they're going to keep coming whether I die or not. So, wow, this has been so great, Jack, getting in touch with you. I'm glad you reached out. And it's a lot of good tips, but the emphasis on copy is really, really important for anybody's business. I say it's the fastest way to increase your income, because the better you get at it, the more money rolls in your front door. It's just as simple as that.
Oh, absolutely. There's no other skill that will gain you so much so fast
That's for
than
sure.
learning how to write copy quickly and getting it out the door, getting your message out the door, getting your products out, serving more people, helping more people.
That's the way it is. So thanks so much for coming on, man. And glad I got to know you a little bit better now. And don't be such a stranger.
I absolutely not, Tom. Thank you very much too. I really enjoyed it.
All right, folks, this has been episode, what is this? 158. So make sure you check the show notes. Go over there and get on all of Jack's stuff, because the type of people he's been writing for, just alone, I've never read any of his copy, but he's got to be good, because they wouldn't be, those people would not have him if he wasn't. So I'm sure he's got a lot to share with you. So get those show notes at episode 150.